Hey guys, January's here. A new year is underway and the final December numbers are in. And Sherman Oaks home prices closed out the year with some important shifts, right? The big question now is, what do those December moves mean for the Sherman Oaks housing market? How did we do this year? As we head deeper into 2026, I'm Alan Taylor, your local Sherman Oaks realtor. And in this video, I'm gonna break down the latest Sherman Oaks real estate market data from December, plus early 2026 predictions, including, where Sherman Oaks home prices are heading and what buyers and sellers should be paying attention to right now, right? Stay to the end so you know exactly how to position yourself for the year ahead in Sherman Oaks. And if you want clear local guidance on how to sell or buy a home in Sherman Oaks, hit like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. I'll have a lot more content coming your way. And if you have a prediction for 2026, I'd love to get your thoughts. Please drop a comment below. I'd love to hear it, and please don't hesitate to reach out. Alan Taylor, Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for checking us out. We're going to get into the MLS. You're currently looking at the MLS home screen right now. I'm going to take you behind the curtain and show you what's going on in the market between 1.5 and 2, 2 to 2.5, 2.5 to 3, 3 to 4, and 4 to 5, like we always do. So again, if you want to move towards, your price range, you can just skip on forward, go to your price range, and I'll try to get into some detail about what's going on in that market. Look, 2025 was an interesting year, right? It wasn't what we hoped it would be. I mean, since interest rates doubled back in May of 2022, we've just constantly been saying rates are going to get better and better and better. And they did, right? They got better, but there was a lot of uncertainty. The movement of money, and it's not just in real estate, but in M&A, mergers and acquisitions, people buying and selling companies, all kind of slowed, right? And that had a lot to do with just uncertainty. This long-term plan to bring more, production into the United States and through tariffs and things like that is causing some uncertainty. So hopefully the name of the game is in 2026, we'll start to see some more confidence. But good news is that towards the end of 2025, the phone started to ring. And across a lot of price ranges, right? The upper end in general is incredibly sensitive. Homes are taking a lot longer to sell. Homes below 3 million, also location specific, are selling much quicker. So that's in a macro level what's been going on. The Fed just talked about buying, or the government talked about buying $200 billion worth of mortgage-backed securities. To put it in perspective, right? Between 2010 and 20, $4 trillion worth of mortgage-backed securities were purchased by the federal government to try to, bolster interest rates, right? So, $200 billion isn't going to do a lot. Between the Fed getting inflation under control, being in a position now to lower the federal funds rate consistently, they're talking about 100 basis points this next year, quantitative easing, this government trying to step in and lower rates, should help with affordability a little bit. I don't think, for some of those sellers who have these prices way up here, I don't think it means all of a sudden someone's going to just show up and, pay a crazy price. I mean, it could, right? If buyer confidence changes, and, there's a lot of surveys that talk about buyers when they get into the, 5% range, is going to completely change their psychology. It might reduce this whole lock-in effect thing where people are finally comfortable giving up their 3.5% or 4% mortgage because they can get a 5.5% mortgage and they really need to move. So it's going to be a marginal change. It's not going to be COVID times again. So if you're holding out for, a better market in a year, I'd probably be careful. Because right now, I mean, let's face it, prices slid in 25. I mean, they slid, right? Upper end home that, had been lived in for a few years, new construction houses in the $10 million range, those houses lost 15-20%. Whereas, under 2 million or 2 million, really good ranch house, great condition, good location, good school district, probably didn't lose between 2 to 5% or something, So again, all location specific. So anyways, let's take a look at the 1.5 to 2. If you look over here to your left, you're going to see 23, 3, 8, and 18, right? So 23 of the current active homes for sale as of January 9, 2026. The 3 and 8 are the ones under contract. So there's 11. So that's, nearly 50% of the 50% of the active. Sorry, there's 33 total homes between the active and the pending. So that's a third of them are under contract, and then 18 have closed. And while there's 23 homes that are currently available for sale, you can look here on the map and see that they're kind of spread out, right? Maybe they're in different school districts. Maybe a couple of them aren't in good condition, right? So when you break it down, there's really still not that much competition. And obviously this is a price range between 1.5 and 2, but when you really break it down into, let's say, 1,750 to 1,850 or 1,9, which is your real kind of comp range, you might see only three houses in a 1 mile radius. And so relatively speaking, that's low inventory. So let's take a couple look at these. I'm not going to show you the actives. Let's look at what people are buying. I'm going to move over here to the client detail, and we're going to move on down here and try to keep you guys focused and learning. I mean, average days on the market is probably somewhere in the 30 to 45 range. Again, all price specific, right? So if you price it fairly, it's going to go, and it's going to go immediately. Let's see, are these still, okay, here we go. All right. So let's see. So, great homes in good condition. Those are the ones that are always going to sell, even on a busy street. Very good design, fairly priced, good family home. Obviously that type of home's going to trade. Let's see what else we've got. Again, really nice and clean home, 3,100 square feet, $580 a foot for this one. That is on McCormick, west of Hazeltine. So there you go on that one. Here's one on Alana. This is a house that's been lived in for quite some time. It's 3,000 square feet, $634 a foot. Somebody can buy this home and remodel it, and it's probably worth close to $3 million. Let's take a look inside. This should need some original carpeting, but just a nice home in good condition. Really good layout, great yard. That's a house that somebody can invest some money in. It's close to Sepulveda. Boom, you can get over the hill. That's a really good location. Homes on Coldwater Canyon, a little harder to sell. That's interesting. I don't even know where this is. I mean, I know where this is. I just don't know there's a single family. This must be just a random single family on Coldwater. Here we go. Here's another one on Norwich. I mean, you can just tell newer construction and clean. But that probably didn't fly off the shelf, right? That was $807 a foot, and they came out in October at 1,649, no price changes, and they were able to get it done. So, smart real estate is pricing favorably. Let's see, what else do we got? Here's one on Emelita. This is a 2,300 square foot home, $711 per foot. Really nicely done, beautiful condition. So look, you're going to see a trend of newer construction or fully remodeled or cool hillside type house. This is $1,200 a foot, 1,400 square feet, selling with a 1,674 ask price. You can see the Ipe wood siding there in the decks, the modern gable roof. I mean, this is it's interesting. The style actually on the interior is a little bit older with the darker coffee color and stuff like that, but this can be spiffed up. Great valley views, nice deck. Cool house. So, cool house, newer construction. This is a great ranch built in 1950s. When was this built in? 1949 on Alwa. This is Valley Heart Glen. It's a really popular pocket. This one actually took a little while to sell. It's 2,130 square feet. I think they asked 1,000 square foot when they first started. Guys, check that out. Back in May, they started at $2 million. And then reduced all the way down to $1,849,000 and finally traded. And, there's the sensitivity in the market, right? For a 8,000 square foot lot, 2,130 square feet, white picket fence, original oak hardwood floors, some updates. That house might have gone for close to $2 million or $2 million in the pandemic, but with higher interest rates and that uncertainty, reductions in price had to be made before it finally traded. So that's kind of the change overall. On that Nob Hill one. Here's another one on Castlewoods. I just saw this one come up. Again, 2,800 square feet, lots of value, 10,000 foot lot, south of the boulevard, ultra clean. Under $2 million, that's a great value. right? With at that square footage, you can put a few $100,000 into it to remodel, and you got this private, um, cul-de-sac location south of the boulevard. That's a great value. And there's some deals. Here's one for 1.5 on Vesper. These areas are north of the boulevard, of course. Here's one on Valley Heart, closer to the river. I'm just going to see if there's anything worth chatting about real quick. If not, we're going to move on to the 1.5 to $2 million range. Let's see. 844 a foot. This is on Otsego, just west of Hidden Woods. 9,000 foot lot. That's a good value. This is a newer 2-story, probably says 1936, but this is not. This is a remodeled house. 3,000 square feet, 1,686, 553 a foot. That's a great deal. That one sold off market. Look at this little cute one. 2,000 square feet on Round Valley Drive in Sherman Oaks. Again, right off of Beverly Glen. Looks like they removed the photos for privacy purposes. Look at that. Look at that. That's a great property. Look, it's got your deck here with views. Probably the only problem, I guess, is you got to park your car down below and walk up the stairs to get inside the house, which is tough for, some people, but still just a cool house. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about? I showed this one. This is interesting. Also a great value. 2,818 square feet, selling for $629 a foot with a pool, 7,200 foot lot, good neighborhood, modern style house, but it had tile flooring, so it still needed a little bit of updating. Small kitchen, floor plan wasn't super great, but 2 bedrooms down, primary up, pool, a little pool house. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip. But it's still a great value if you think about it, right? And this one came on the market for 2.1. So came on the market at 2.1 and traded for $1,775,000, right? That's the market in 2025. And if you're a buyer right now, I'd be looking, right? I'd be thinking about it. This one came out at 1,799, or no, did it go 1,899, sold for $1,848,000. I showed this one, kind of a modern looking house south of the boulevard. So anyways, some good deals out there, guys. Keep your eyes peeled, get out there. And, I think what's going to wind up happening is interest rates are going to continue to get down. If they get into the, mid 5% range, I think that's going to put some pressure on the market, right? Because buyers are going to feel like, well, hey, I might want to get out there and get a deal, right? At some point when the market stabilizes and houses start going up in value again, you may have a better interest rate. You're going to pay more for the house. Arguably you pay a little bit more today and then refinance over time, you're going to save money. So anyways, all right. So as we go higher in price, guys, we're at 2 million to 2.5 million. You can see the amount of product on the market is going down. There are 17 homes currently for sale as of January 9. 6 homes are under contract. So that's 23, 6 out of 23, which is 25% roughly, I think. 6 times something. I don't know. I'm not a math major. And then 6 for sale. And again, you can see how spread out these all are. I said the same thing in the 1.5 to 2 million range. I mean, look, above the bullet, north of the freeway, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got about 8, maybe 10, and the rest of them are split south. So the different product types, not comparable. Usually, when you compare, you're looking at homes within a half-mile radius, and then buyers, same thing, right? You're looking in a school district, so it really breaks it down, into a small geographical area. Let's take a look at what's selling right now in this price range. Let's see. Let's go. Okay, gotcha. Wait a minute. No, I'm going to go back here and we're going to view the listings, all 29. We are going to select all and we're going to show all. Okay, here we go. All right. Now I want to show you guys what's trading. I'm going to go through, days on the market is higher today, 30 to 45 days. You got everything's price sensitive. If you're not careful, you're going to sit on the market for, 30 days plus. I just helped a client sell a single level ranch in a good Sherman Oaks location, and we came out a little bit high and buyers hemmed and hawed, and we sold it full price, and then the buyer fell out, and then it sat for a minute, and so it's like there's price sensitivity, so you kind of got to be a little bit careful. Let's see what happened here. I want to show you guys some of the under contract trades. All right, here we go. All right, so let's see. 1, 2, 3. All right, so 3917 Murrieta A+ real estate location, $635 square foot, hillside properties, not a lot of land. Those properties typically take longer to sell. As you can see, 262 days on the market. It actually says 26. This is the thing you got to check out. You got to call your, no, that's right. So 2650, and it came all the way down to 2245 before finally trading. Let's see. This was a hillside house on Davana, 2,918 square feet, sold for $805 a foot. Private little downslope hideaway, a 40s ranch, ultra charming. As you can see, it had a lift, so someone that was living in the house was older. They cleaned it up, they painted it, they staged it professionally. It looked really, really good. Cool house, right? And that traded, it's under contract now, 42 days on the market, no price reductions. So, quality piece of real estate in an A+ location still traded. Here's one on Sunny Slope, fairly close to the freeway, under contract, asking $1,000 a square foot. No price reductions, 21 days on the market. What does that tell us, guys? It tells us that, a beautifully well done, modern home, especially if it's done well in a good location, can still trade fairly quickly. All right, let's see. Let's keep going. Interviewed for this one, a good value, right? 5 beds, 3,100 square feet, $705 a square foot. Roblar's one of the best streets in all of Sherman Oaks. Needs a lot, right? Needs updating, mostly original. I think this, I don't know if this primary, but amazing primary retreat, by the way. So the bones are there. There's high ceilings in there. I actually interviewed or went on this listing on this one, but she, wound up selling with a friend. But that's a good value, right? 250, and it's almost 3,200 square feet. You can put $500,000 into that house, and you've got an incredible Sherman Oaks hillside retreat in a very good location, for under $3 million, and you're set. So again, that house probably would have traded for closer to 2.5, 2.6 during COVID. So you can see that there's some decent deals out here. This one spent 124 days on the market. My guess is that particular pocket's a little bit, inconsistent. Developer probably tried to get it for, that looks really nice. I mean, really, really nice house. Yeah. So I don't know, market sensitive, right? Location is everything. This is a great value, right? Almost 4,000 square feet, asking $653 a square foot in Long Ridge Estates, right? I mean, this house, my guess is this house probably has 5 to 10 offers, right? I'm guessing it has as many as 10 offers. That's the market right now, right? So everyone's kind of like hanging around, and the sellers who are overpricing their homes, they're sitting there, and the buyers, like, they want to transact, and they're like, and then all of a sudden, boom, something comes out at a great price, and everybody jumps on it. That's what's going on right now, and that's really, what we're seeing. That's a little bit further north, and that's still got $2 million. That's a great deal. This got to be fully remodeled. This is like all remodeled and dialed in. Oh, look at your agent. That house is fully remodeled, right? Storybook Chandler Estates, rented by times 9,600 square foot lot, blah, blah, blah. Custom cabinetry, quartz counters, premium appliances, wolf range, la, la, la. So, even north of Chandler, 2,100 square feet, 919 a foot. So again, location specific and finish specific. Here's one on Deerhorn, $849 a square foot. This was also remodeled and really nicely done. Floor color finish is great against those countertops. Just has that like really nice, clean vibe. High quality remodel. And that traded for $850 a foot. This one I showed this to my client, 2,170 square foot. This sold almost $1,000 a square foot, beautifully remodeled. This one, 800 a foot. My guess is that needs a little bit of, okay, so here you go. So here's 3604 Glen Ridge. I wrote an offer on this way back in the day. 4 beds, 3 baths, 2,500 square feet, $1,000 a square foot. My good friend Heather had the listing on this one, by the way, great agent. And, just unbelievable architectural pedigree, cool house, hard to come by, right? So they had multiple offers on it. Gloria in my office sold it. This came out 15 days on the market, boom, gone, done, right? Sold over ask. So again, like really good houses that are priced favorably are going to sell. And this is a good location on Royal Woods here. I mean, this one went for $2,350 at 4,000 square feet. That's unbelievable. There's got 2,895 reducing down to 2,595 for 2,350. So something went wrong here. I mean, I know this house needs a ton of work. I sold, God, that's a lot of square footage. Okay. All right. So, additions have been made to this house. It's been taken from a traditional home to this like part traditional, part modern. Interesting architecture there and original. So needed a lot of work. So that explains it. All right. That's it for that price range. Let's keep going, guys. I want to try to keep you guys focused, and otherwise you're going to leave me, and I don't want that. All right, so here is 2.5 to 3 million. I promised I would try to keep it moving. All right, here you go. $2.5 to $3 million Sherman Oaks. What a different story this price range is showing, right? Nothing under contract, 15 homes currently for sale, 3 active listings. So as you go higher in price, the harder it gets to sell your home. Listings are still spread out. And so relatively speaking, there's low inventory, but gosh, it's just not selling. So let's take a look at what is. I mean, look, the only reason you can explain for something not selling is price, right? So either you just have a lot of sellers who are just not that ready to sell and they're all testing the market. You are starting to get into homes south of the boulevard with like higher insurance rates. But generally speaking, under 3 million, California Fair Plan, easy to get insurance. I shouldn't say easy, but, easy-ish to get insurance if it's in the flats. Just not a lot of movement in this market right now. Let's see what is trading. I'm going to show you here in a second. All right. So what sold in this price range in the past 30 days? We talked about Glen Ridge. That's the reason you saw this before, is because it was priced below. So really there's same thing with this one. Contour, that's the only other one. So really not a lot of movement in this price range. That's it, guys. I'm going to check my criteria and make sure I did it right. This is 3,792 square foot home south of the boulevard. I believe it has a little view. I'm not really sure on that one. They took the photos down. $778 a foot. Yeah, look, guys, I'm good. All right, I got my active under contract. I got my pending. I got my 2.5 to 3 million, and I got 3 trades in the price range. So, look, it's also, it's end of the year. I think that probably has, something to do with the amount of transactions that you're seeing, the amount of deals. But the market started to pick up. So, all right, let's look 3 to 4, and then we're going to go 4 to 5, and then 5 up. All right, so 20 homes currently for sale, 3 under contract, so that's 23. So less than 10% of them are A little more than 10% of them are in escrow, and 4 have traded. Let's take a look at what's going on. And again, the higher the price point, the more price sensitive it is. Gosh, this one's been on the market forever. I'm not surprised. It's just really, it's a cool house, and it's got a view, small yard, but it needs work. So it's like you just can't, ask those 2020, two prices and expect for people to come gobble it up, not with these interest rates and insurability issues. So price it fairly and it's gone. All right, here we go. 4,500 Calhoun. This is a 2025 new construction. 3.3 is the asking price. 3,593 square feet, $921 a square foot. Newer homes that are fairly priced are trading. This is a unique house on Domino, 4,600 square feet. I don't really get this one. I mean, other than you can tell from the photos, somebody did spend a lot of money, and it's got an ADU. It's a compound. It still seems like a big number, but it's 4,600 square feet. That one's under contract. New construction on Sunny Slope, south of the boulevard. A+ location. Here you go. Probably no, it is 2025. 2025, and they had to go down to $900 per square foot. Oh, 0 days on the market. They sold it off market. I still think that should be $1,000 a square foot. If I don't know, I haven't been inside this house, guys, but if that house was done with the highest quality fixtures and finishes, it's $1,000 a square foot for new construction in that location. Full stop. So, not sure. Let's see if this is going to go back down. 2 to 3. Hey, bear with me, guys. All right, so here we go. 14822 Hesby Street, east of Kester, 3,100 square feet, asking $980 a foot, sold, $6,750 lot, cool architecture, 2021 construction. But again, you can see demand for that type of product. $820 a foot, location's not quite as good. This is 2025 build, but you can just tell it's not, the same new construction. It's more cookie cutter, right? The buyers who are going out there and looking. I mean, if you want the nicest homes, you're going to pay for it. It's just that simple. You can't get the cheaper quality. You can't get the higher end quality for the lower price. But there are some homes like this that weren't built to the highest quality. And when I say highest quality, I mean more, it could be built well. It just might not have the highest end fixtures and finishes. Maybe the builder wanted to pull back on some of the, the countertops or the cabinetry or whatever. Be careful. Some of the cabinetry falls apart. But, there is some value out here. Here's one on Raynetta, almost $1,000 a square foot. Great Spanish house. They pulled down the photos. This was an awesome house. Let's keep going, guys. I'm gonna go 4 to 5, and then we're just gonna wrap up. If you got a house to sell over $5 million and you want to talk, please call me. Would love to get you the comps and give you an evaluation. And last but not least, guys, here's 4 to 4, 5, 11 homes, 9 including coming soon, with 2 under contract. No trades in the last 30 days, which is fine, right? So you got, a decent amount of these homes are selling. That's great news. Again, higher price points, price sensitivity, only the best of the best are selling, or good values. And let's see what did trade. Oh, this one went under contract. So look at the value there, $783 a square foot. I showed this to a buyer, 6 years ago. They did some modifications upstairs. They turned 2 bedrooms into 1s. They made a really great master retreat. 99 days on the market. Let's just double check that. Nope. 259 days on the market. Cancel and a relist, right? So it came out at 3.4. I think that's a different one, right? Did that not ever trade? Holy guacamole. No, that can't be. Yeah, they listed, yeah, it's 77 days on the market. As you can see, the house had a hard time selling back in 21 and 20. That was probably right before COVID. Again, they were just asking too much money. Um, let's go back to the client details short, and I'm going to show you the photos of this house. But nice house, gated, stone canyon, has a little bit of levels. Um, steps down to the pool, steps down to the barbecue, steps down to the guest house. Nice finishes. You can see probably 10 to 15 years old on the remodel, but still nicely done. Overall, look, guys, a great house in a good location under contract. Here is a house on Matilija coming soon. And look at Calcon. Check out the art. Look at the architecture on this one. Still under contract. I think this was under contract last time we spoke. Went under contract. Yeah, and Thanksgiving. So my December market update covered this one. But check out the architecture. Really cool modern design. Very well done. Look at this thing right here. This, what do you call it? Design right there just to tie everything together. And that's what the market's looking for, guys. They're looking for special. They're not looking for same. They're looking for something different. They want people to walk into their house and go, look at me. All right, guys. So that's it. Thanks for checking us out, guys. I really appreciate it. That's my January market update. This is really December activity. 2026 is going to be a good year. It's not going to be price increase across the board. I think I've seen some arguments that prices are going to go up 4%. I think certain houses in certain price ranges are going to continue to lose value. And if sellers try to overprice them, they're going to get less than those who price favorably. High-end guys, I get it. You want to price a little bit higher. You never know, especially if there's no real comp for your property. You're never going to know. Lower-end guys, price it fairly. Make it look great, price it fairly, and thank me later. Take care, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. What do you think about the market? What's your forecast? Please tell me what you think. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.